Hi everyone, my name is Ruby, and here is my audience to start off. Okay, hopefully you can see my presentation in the back. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about something that a lot of us struggle with, but a lot of times we don't really know how to improve that, and that is small talk. So, small talk, as we all know, it's the art of starting and being able to maintain a conversation. And especially since the pandemic, a lot of people have kind of not been able to do that. It's been really difficult for a lot of people. However, it's really essential for us to be able to make connections with people and to build those relationships. So, throughout this kind of presentation, I'm going to kind of show some tips and tricks that can help us with small talk, help us be more confident in our conversations and how we connect with people, as well as some real life scenarios that we can kind of go through. So hopefully by the end of this, you'll be a little more confident in your ability to maintain a conversation with someone and make it feel a little less intimidating. So here, first we're going to start off with why small talk matters. So as Nicholas Epley said, he is a behavioral scientist as well as the author of the book Mindwise, published in 2014. He said that it's oftentimes our own perceptions of people's thoughts and feelings that impact the way we communicate with them. And communicating with people can be characterized by what others think in a nonverbal way. So this can be through body language or eye contact or even facial expressions. And a lot of us do this subconsciously. We'll be having a conversation with someone and maybe we make a face or do something that kind of impacts the way we are conversing with them. So an example could be, well, maybe you are talking with someone and you ask them a question. Well, maybe they take a little bit of time to respond to your question, and to you that could seem like, oh, well, maybe what I had to say was boring to them or not as interesting. When in reality, maybe they're just taking some time to think about what they want to say and give you a good answer. So being able to kind of pick up on these cues is really good for making you feel less nervous and make the conversation flow a little bit more. So now I kind of want to talk about like implementing our small talk. So there's this author I like. Her name is Lala Alves, and she is the author of the book called How to Talk to Anyone, and it was published in 2003, excuse me. And she actually gives 92 tips and tricks on how to keep a conversation flowing and well. But one of my favorites is to just have big body language. And what she means by that is being able to confidently keep eye contact with someone. Maybe it's having good posture or a good firm handshake that can really help open the door to good conversations. So maybe you are in a networking event and you're trying to connect with someone new you haven't talked to before. If you start off by giving good eye contact and a firm handshake, that already opens the door to the trust there, and then you can it's easier to build off from there. Another really good tip she has is to ask open-ended questions. Instead of asking questions like, how are you? Maybe you could say, what's been the highlight of your week? That way you're kind of opening the door for them to contribute more to the conversation as well. Maybe you're at a party and you don't really know anyone. Again, you could ask, what is something interesting you've done recently? And that kind of allows them to talk more about themselves. So as we know, social anxiety is oftentimes a thing that can kind of get in the way and kind of impact our small talk ability. So the author, her name is Dorothy Fine, yes. Sorry, she kind of goes through ways we can overcome our anxiety in her book, and it's called The Fine Art of Small Talk. And that was published in 2005, and it's a really good book, especially as someone who suffers from anxiety herself. So being able to focus on the other person instead of yourself in these situations can kind of take the nervousness out of that. Again, being able to kind of ask them questions or ask them about their interests, hobbies, maybe what they do for work, allows the conversation to feel makes it flow a little more instead of it just feeling like an interview, perhaps. Also, a big key to this is active listening. So showing the person that you're interested in what they have to say, whether it's doing a head nod or a smile or a gesture, something that can kind of show that you're engaged in the conversation. And maybe every once in a while you could say, oh, that's really interesting, or tell me more about that. And then they can expand some more, and that kind of shows them that you are interested and care what they have to say, instead of just saying things to fill a silence or whatever it may be. So here's some more real life scenarios. Again, we kind of talked about networking event, maybe a family gathering. If it's a little awkward, you could be like, has anyone tried any new recipes lately they want to share, or just things like that that can kind of get people talking about themselves and their interests. There's some more, maybe an elevator conversation, like how's your day going so far, or just making things a little less awkward always helps. And here's what we talked about at a professional conference, stuff like that. Another really important thing you need to be able to recognize is that saying goodbye and exiting the conversation. Maybe you could just be like, yeah, it was so nice to talk to you, so nice to hear what you had to say. Things that kind of acknowledge that you really liked talking to them is really good. And yeah, just showing gratitude, maybe that will allow for you to be able to have a conversation with them in the future. So here are some takeaways. In conclusion, small talk is really an essential skill that we all need to be able to keep a conversation flowing. And it can be hard in today's day and age after a pandemic, but just working little by little really helps. And yeah, hopefully you can take some of these tips and tricks maybe the next time you have a conversation to make it kind of flow easier and to build more confidence and be able to talk with someone with ease instead of feeling intimidated and nervous. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening.